It seems like the military might have accidentally kicked out people that it should have never kicked out based off them maybe eating an everything bagel. And I'm not exaggerating this. This has been the urban myth beyond, the tale as old as time, as somebody possibly popping on one of these tests the military does because he had too many poppy seeds. But the U.S. military has officially made an announcement saying maybe that is some legitimacy and that you should probably be careful. And we're going to break this down because I thought this was a fake story until I saw it was an official memo from the Department of Defense. So this is from the Department of Defense, and this is by Jim Garamore. He says, service members should avoid foods with poppy seeds. There's a whole thing about this, but it says service members may want to hold off ordering that everything bagel. It's not urban legend. Eating poppy seeds can cause diners to test positive for coating on a urinalysis. Defense Department officials said in a memo released yesterday. It says recent data suggests certain poppy seed varieties may have higher coating contamination than previously reported, said Gilbert R. Cisneros, the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel Readiness. Consumption of poppy seed products could cause coating positive urinalysis, result and undermine the department's ability to identify illicit drug use. Now, let's be fair here. Not every test is an exact science. There's false positives, false negatives. There's a lot of things, and this, we'll get into how that can be looking at this, and they do have a process for that I will cover here. But I think to sit here and tell people don't eat poppy seeds is a moving target, because I will address there has been a pass from this. Do you guys remember? This was 2015. Army regs prohibit eating popular health bar hemp seeds, source of protein banned by DA. That's because you see these kind bars, they had hemp seed in them, and then they had people that were popping positive for this, and they're like, sorry, you bought this over at the exchange on base, and we know that was totally, not by mistake, but you're on the hook. I don't know whatever happened to people that pop positive for this, but I'm like, God, there's just so much that I'm like, I have questions. I have a lot of questions. It says, this comes as something of a surprise for the department. At one point, some meals ready to eat contain lemon poppy seed cake. I've had that. It's actually not that bad, I'll be honest with you. And dining facilities often serve poppy seeds in their salad dressing. So you're saying I am forced by the military that they will not pay me basic allowance for sustenance to eat food. You're going to force me to eat at your chow halls, offer me what could possibly make me pop on your piss test, and then you also kick me out of the military? That is crazy. That is a nuts. Oh man, I'm sure there's somebody out there that has already been kicked out for this that is probably looking at some way to sue the U.S. government already. It says officials became aware of the problem in 2022 and have worked to review the quotations limited scientific studies, and also contracted with independent laboratory to have the codeine and morphine contamination of multiple poppy seed brands analyzed. Officials said the analysis and other recently published studies were the catalyst for the warning regarding poppy seeds. So if it wasn't for these studies recently populated, we would just be kicking people out randomly and saying, well, the test has got to be correct. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that has been wrongfully kicked out since 2022. There's been at least about almost a year that we're talking about, maybe at some point, that we're seeing here. And it says the poppy seed memo calls on Army, Navy, and Air Force, not Space Force, to notify service members to avoid consumption of all poppy seeds, including food products and baked goods containing poppy seeds. Bagel rolls, salads, and salad dressing are the most common foods with poppy seeds, but there are many other foods where poppy seeds are used as a spice. Many foods contain poppy seeds in the Balkans, the Middle East, and Central and Eastern Europe. They continue to say it's possible that some service members have been disciplined or discharged for innocent or unknown ingestion of poppy seeds, and officials said, we are currently working that analysis and focusing on coding-only positive tests from fiscal year 2019 to present, the officials continued. This timeline is based on currently available information, the amount of poppy seeds consumed, concentration of codeine detected, and urine, and time of consumption relative to the drug tests are also important factors. As we gather more information, we will reassess and update as appropriate. I will, and they advise people to work with their legal department. They should always be working with their legal department, but if they're working with legal departments, they're probably going to be just like, all right, I'll take the administrative separation. I don't want to go to court-martial. I don't want to challenge this. They're just going to leave the service as clean as possible because, people are probably thinking and probably being advised by their JAG officers out there, hey, these tests are pretty good as long as the line of accountability is from your body to a little bottle to where it was shipped out, it was tested, and that was good. More than likely, they're going to advise you, hey, man, take the least abrasive road possible in order to just get this over with and not have any further damage done to your credibility, career, some kind of dishonorable discharge, something like that. Now, this got me thinking here. This is the official DoD instruction 10.10.16 and looking at what this is, because I'll be honest with you, I don't remember being able to physically look up this information and it be so readily available. So per the DoD instruction here, it tells you all of the stuff that is the limit based off the initial screening test cutoff concentrations. Now, we're talking about codeine specifically. I don't see that. Right here it says 2,000 nanograms per milliliter. Now, however, what's interesting about this is when they do a confirmatory test cutoff for concentrations, it actually shows that it is even more strenuous and the cutoff is much lower as far as that goes. And then here, you're going to see the codeine here is 2,000 nanograms per milliliter for that. So this is a process I suggest anybody, it would behoove you, I'll say it, behoove you to check out this instruction, read up on it, and understand the process because, if you were kicked out, I hope they're reading this from ensuring every step of the way was met as far as their samples, what they were tested on, and things like that. And, I'll say that the military doesn't seem to be too transparent with their drug tests, to be honest with you. And it does seem like a moving target on a regular basis. And I'm just going to give you guys one example that some of you guys may have forgotten about that was only a few years ago. And that is, if you remember back in 2011, this is just from the U.S. Army, spice is now illegal. Now, spice, if you forget, these were the rules, but pretty much it says the product spice and other products that use the name generically are sold in packets and appear as shredded green herbs similar to MJ. The product is a delivery system for a synthetic, and when smoked, it gives users the effect similar to that of smoking MJ. So, and it says synthetic cannabis and THC substitutes are closely related in action to THC, as it makes it obvious that synthetic cannabis and THC substitutes will have the same potential for abuse as THC. We're entering a very weird era of just, I would say, in general, this, because the Air Force only in the past year has announced that you could still fail the test and still join the military as long as you sign like a little memo saying, I will not ever do this again. So, look at this. It is a very dynamic, moving target where I think a lot of us in the general population think you do it, you're out, you're bad, but there's a lot of other legalities here, and it shows that they can kind of make this moving target change as they did with this. And I don't know how they're going to change it, how many nanograms are going to be here and how specific these tests can get down to, because this is truly going to be a science question. But let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys going to be avoiding any poppy seeds moving forward in the future? Is the everything bagel worth it? Is a dressing worth it? God, I don't know. But if you guys like these topics, hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.